let's make our Qnami prawn pasta. So time to make our pasta. We're going to get 300 grams of flour and 3 eggs. So the rule is 1 egg per 100 grams of flour. Now you need to use 00 flour. It's got a higher protein content. For pasta, it says pasta tipo 00, and that's what you need for pasta. Don't use plain flour, it won't work. Now it's important to crack your eggs into a bowl before you start. Whisk them together. All right, now you're going to put your flour on the bench, like this, and you want to make a little well. So you make a little well in the middle here, like that, and then your eggs go in. Start to drag the flour into the eggs. Not too fast. If it starts to fall out the side, it doesn't matter. It's all going to get kneaded and mixed together anyway. Just mix it all together. And you can always tell the quality of the yolks of the eggs by how yellow they are. Sometimes if you have an older egg, it won't be quite as yellow. But trust me when I tell you that it's all going to come together. It may not look like it at the moment, and it may look a little bit dry, but just take your time and keep mixing it, and it will all come together. Flour has an amazing ability to absorb liquid. So when it gets to this stage, it's crumbly, start to use both your hands. You're gonna lift it up and sort of press it together like this. Almost like you're making bread, trying to make breadcrumbs out of it. And you can see how it's starting to come together now. And then you start to, when it gets to this stage, you can see how it's starting to clump together more. That's exactly what we're after. Start use both hands and really start to pull it together. Make sure you don't have any missing pieces. If you get worried and you think that's a little bit too dry, just keep mixing it for a while and keep kneading it, because you'll be amazed at how it starts to come together after a while. But if you are too worried, you can add a little bit of water. Right, so I've added just a tablespoon of water, and you can see how now it's started to all come together, and it started to look like a pasta dough because it's yellow now. So at this point, we want to start kneading it. It's going to take us about 5 or 10 minutes to knead it. Okay, so now it's been about 5 or 7 minutes that I've been kneading this for, and you can see there's a considerable change, and you can see how nice and smooth it is. So now we're going to wrap this in cling film and put it in the fridge to rest for half an hour. Time to make a sauce for our prawn pasta. We've got some onion, we're going to dice that up, and we're going to slice our tomatoes in half. We're going to put our onions in first with a little bit of olive oil, saute them off with some granulated garlic, deglaze with some white wine, and then add our tomatoes, a little bit of water, cook it down to a nice sauce and give it a blend. Let's go. So once the sauce is cooked, just give it a blend. All right, pasta is rested. We're gonna roll it out. Now, you can use a pasta roller or a KitchenAid if you want to. I don't have one with me today, so I'm gonna show you how to do it by hand. But by all means, if you have a pasta machine, you can use that for sure. So we're just gonna do half of it, just cut it in half. And you can see how nice and soft it is. That's going to be super easy to roll. So we want to get a little bit of flour, not too much. start rolling it. So if you do decide to do it by hand, you can tell when it's ready by you can see through it. So if you put your hand behind it, you can see my hand through it. And as a general rule, that's thin enough. You can keep going thinner if you want to, but if you want to, you can, but that's pretty much fine. So now it comes to deciding what kind of shape we want to cut our pasta. So I'm going to go with parpadelle. And how we're going to do that is just pretty much like 1 inch thick pieces. So we're just going to get this and fold it up. Make sure that you brush off any excess flour. And then you want to just fold it up nicely like this. And we're going to trim off just the edges there. And then we're going to get rid of that. We're going to get pieces about this big. It's kind of like a thick fettuccine. And then what you want to do, pick it up and give it a shake and open it up just to make sure that nothing sticks together. When you get to this point, this is how you can tell you have a nice pasta, because if it's too wet at the start, it means when you start to roll it out now, it will be too sticky and it will stick together. So you can see here that this has been a really nice ratio of flour to egg. So now we have to cook it. So good.